welcome to the How to Podcast series. My name is Dave. Happy to have you back again. We're talking hosting sites, Anchor versus Buzzsprout versus Libsyn here on the How to Podcast series. Here we go. Let's talk. So you have a podcast. Congratulations. You're starting a podcast. Congratulations. One thing to think about right off the bat is the decision between a free hosting site like Anchor, even Buzzsprout has a free option, or a paid hosting site. Again, Buzzsprout offers paid. Libsyn is another one we're going to talk about today as well. And realizing that the moment you did make your decision, free or paid, if you choose paid, show me the money, that your podcast, for it to survive and continue to be available to your listeners, your podcast requires a monthly fee paid to a hosting site, which will send out your podcast through what we call an RSS feed to all the listening apps in the world for people to find and listen to your podcast. It requires you to pay a monthly fee. Now, that might actually lead to why some people start a podcast and quit, is because it costs money and they run out of money. That could be part of it. So Anchor, again, is a free podcast hosting site, and people don't like it because some people don't like it because it is free. And you can start a podcast today and have it distributed right away, and doesn't have to require too much effort on your part. You really can create anything, anytime, which leads to people creating podcasts that are like, meh, and they give up and stop. And the podcast just continues to live out there in podcast land because there's no way to shut them off. So an alternative to that is Buzzsprout has a free option where you can create a podcast, publish it to the world, and it's there for a length of time, and then Buzzsprout just kind of deletes it. So it's gone, and your listeners can't hear it again. So I like that Buzzsprout has a free option. Libsyn, no free option. So there you go, right there. I can just kind of pause there for a second and go, why would they not have a free option? I don't understand. So as much as people hate Anchor for being free, what about Libsyn for not having a free? Let's just say that out loud. Anyways, think about it, Libsyn. Be part of the solution, maybe. I don't know. So Anchor is free. They have really good music tracks where you can put music behind you as you talk, like this, for example. Hear that? You can put music like this behind you as you talk. And it's kind of cool for everyone as they're listening. Right? I like it. So you can do that kind of thing on Anchor, which is great. You can do transitions. So something like this. Yay! Or something like this. You can add these transitions to your podcast through Anchor. That's pretty cool. And those are free according to the plan. You can just have access to these where you might have to go pay for these somewhere else. Think about it. If you want music, it's free. The other thing is Anchor is connected through Spotify because Spotify had purchased Anchor. So the connection between Anchor and Spotify is really good. If you love Spotify, great. And Anchor actually allows you to do video podcasts that can be played through Spotify. So Anchor, you do your video and Spotify can play it. You can also put the video on YouTube. Great. So that's another option. Again, Buzzsprout doesn't do that. Libsyn doesn't do that. Nobody else does that. So if you like video, there's another option for you to go with Anchor. Awesome. So it's free. It's got great tools. There's a little bit of upwork from your part where you're going to have to kind of get your podcast out there to the world and get it connected with all the other players. Not hard. TrueMediaSolutions.ca. There's a resource page. You can go there and there's links on how to do that. So it's not worth paying somebody to do that as part of a monthly fee. I would just do it myself and the tools are there. Reach out if you have a question. I'll help you. So I like Anchor for that. It's free. It does clog up the market with podcasts that are like meh, and people give up and just leave it there. So again, if you want to try a free podcast, Buzzsprout. Try Buzzsprout. It's free. They have a free option. Try your podcast. If you like it, upgrade to a paid plan, and then realize the moment you start paying for your podcast, you're paying for your podcast for as long as you want it to live. If you stop today and you're like, I'm going to take a 10-year break from my podcast, and you stop paying, your podcast is gonzo. So just keep that in mind, all right? When you start paying, you have to pay all the time, every month, all the time. So just keep that in mind, all right? So let's go over the two paid versions then. There's Buzzsprout and Libsyn that I want to talk about today. Buzzsprout, I love because the plan is based around total time you use every month. Libsyn is based on the size of the file that you upload to their server. So Libsyn is more like a Google Drive, Dropbox, than a podcast platform, because most people talk in time, not in file size. The size of the file, that just seems weird and hard to measure and hard to monitor. I love Buzzsprout because I can upload all my episodes for the month with my plan to my limit. And if I have 10 minutes left over, I can do a quick 8 to 10 minute episode and use up that remaining time and use every last minute of my podcast time. So that makes sense to me. I like being able to do that and use my service that way. Hard to do on Libsyn because it's all based on, again, the size of the file. That's hard to measure. How much time do I have left to record when I have to do the math and figure out the size of my file? It just seems ridiculous to me. I don't understand why they would do that and why they value that. That makes no sense. So again, so you can kind of see where I'm leaning here. I've got 3 podcasts on Anchor. I have 3 podcasts on Buzzsprout. Really good communication from both of them. So there's training, there's YouTube videos. Libsyn has a really good podcast. And Buzzsprout's really good on their YouTube channel, doing videos and tutorials. They have a great newsletter. So that's great. Both of them are really good at advertising and educating podcasters. Great on them. I love that. For me, it just comes down to that simple thing of, do I want to talk the size of my podcast episode file, or do I want to talk about the length of the episode? For me, logically, talking about the length of the episode in time is way more convenient and easier to do than to talk the size of the file. So if Libsyn was doing file size by time, just like Buzzsprout, it would make my decision really difficult because a lot of people love Libsyn. Libsyn's been there for a long time. They've been there forever. They've got great people that work there, great support. It's just, I don't understand why you would do file size. So that makes 0 sense. So as a new podcaster, if you want to get set up, you want to get your podcast out there, I am now accepting clients that I can help you either with just simple editing. If you just need some help with like a YouTube thing, you want to put up a static image with just a picture with your podcast episode MP3 in behind it. You want to get that to YouTube, I can do that for you. I can help you with show notes and working on my team as well and helping to build up that as well. So if you have any podcast questions, head over to the link in the show notes. And we're over here at truemediasolutions.ca. That's me, I'm Dave. And I would love to help you and get yourself set up for podcast success. I hope you're enjoying the co-hosted episodes as well. It's a lot of fun to get other podcasters on and share their journey here on the How to Podcast series. Thanks for listening. So again, Anchor, free, floods the market with a bunch of podcasts that should never be out there. Great music, great tools, easy to use, awesome for newbies. Again, if you want a free episode, a free podcast option, maybe Buzzsprout's a better one than Anchor. Try Buzzsprout's free option. And if you want to upgrade to paid, again, when you start paying, you can't stop. So once you start paying for your hosting site, you stop paying. Bye-bye podcast. So Buzzsprout and Libsyn, again, it just comes back to time. Do you want to talk time or you want to talk file size? To me, hands down, I talk time. Enough of your time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing your time with me today here on the How to Podcast series, and we'll catch you on the next one. Let me know what you picked. What's your favorite? And I'd love to carry on the conversation. Cheers.